Hey traders, I just want to bring to your attention a potential buy setup on the weekly time frame on AUDCAD. I know that some of you, or many of you, have taken the long buy setup on the daily time frame, which was as a result of last week's false breakout bullish pin bar reversal, but that was since invalidated thanks to the bearish pin bar reversal which we had 2 days ago. Now, for those of you who know how to trade these early warning signs, where in this case we get a bullish pin bar reversal, our entry setup followed by bearish pin bar reversal, lower high, you know all too well that it made sense, and it certainly did, to move our stop loss to the break-even point because it didn't even take out the previous swing high. However, what is interesting with AUDCAD at the moment is that we do have the emergence of a higher low, which is pretty significant. If you look on the 4-hourly time frame, you can see that we do have an inverse head and shoulders formation potentially in the offing. Let's just wait for it to fire up. There we go. We have it right here. We've got the left hand shoulder, the head, and the right hand shoulder. Is it really going to play, or is it merely a mirage in the price action desert? Well, I'm going to talk to you about a very safe setup if it does work out, rather than getting in too early and potentially getting chopped. I mean, we've already had one false signal and one false start already with this reversal. And please bear in mind that reversals do take a lot longer to cook, essentially, than trend-based plays. But a very safe opportunity would be simply to place an entry above the high of last week's high with a stop loss below last week's low, and that will essentially mean that we've got a slightly more efficient place where our stop loss would be at this week's low, the equivalent to below the right hand shoulder on the inverse head and shoulders. There we go, this last rejection point here, the high low, which is crucial. And we'll have our entry. If we do go above last week's high, then it will simply be, as you've probably guessed, above last week's high. Still got a long way to go. So like I said, we've got a number of criteria. We need to see basically a lot of momentum to the upside in order for this trade to revalidate itself. We've got the starting points in the form of a bullish reversal pattern, like I mentioned, the inverse head and shoulders. It has invalidated itself in the daily, but it has revalidated itself thanks to this inverse head and shoulders. So, like I mentioned, the safer entry, if you did want a safer entry, would be just to simply enter at the break of last week's high with a stop loss below this week's low. Or what you could do, as it's a big bar last week, you could wait for this week's close. Looking at the way things are going at the time of talking on Wednesday, looks like we could potentially get the close on Thursday as an inside bar. Now, inside bars are all very well and good, but if it's an inside bullish pin bar reversal, i.e. if it closes as a buyer bar and we have the iconic tail here with the open and close in the top third, then that could be a very good little opportunity. And if we do get that, then we'll simply trade the break off the high of the inside bar of our stop loss below the low. Okay, so reversals do typically take much longer than trend-based plays to come to fruition, and quite often you can expect a number of attempts to get into the trade. But the key is to be safe, be cautious, be disciplined, and pragmatic. Okay, so that is AUDCAD. Happy trading, folks.